All right, hello everyone. So just a couple things to kind of wrap up. Um, First of all, in our conclusion, back on page 18, I was actually bad and forgot to write our chi-square statistic and our p-value at the end. As we mentioned before, in these chi-square test of associations, there can be a lot of different uh, point estimates or proportions that we're estimating depending on how many levels each of our categorical variables have. And so we're not going to write a statement that contains our point estimate for this for these examples. We left off up here talking about the fact that this was an experiment, and so it allowed us to make a bit of a stronger conclusion about causation. I just want to make a note here that designing an experiment that tests whether one particular employer is racially discriminating in their hiring practices, this is much tougher to do. And so you could kind of brainstorm a little bit if you want about how you might design this experiment, but it's going to be really hard. It's a lot easier to do an observational study, but then it's harder to make causative conclusions. So that's kind of the trade-off you would get. All right, and so as a handout, you'll be kind of looking at this article about hiring discrimination from the past 25 years. And you'll also look into the original article that this data set had come from. And so this original article is down here. There will be a link to it in the handout as well. And you won't read the whole thing unless you want to, of course, but the handout will prompt you to read certain sections and answer some questions. All right, so that wraps up our categorical inference section. After our exam, we will go ahead and resume talking about modeling, which I think I mentioned before. We'll really talk about statistical modeling for the rest of the semester in this class, so I'm excited for that. As always, definitely let me know if you have any questions or if you'd like to discuss really any of the results or anything that you read from either of these articles.